Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture we're going to talk about casting. As we've seen in previous lectures, Java has a bunch of numerical types. We've seen int values which hold 32 bits. There is a short value of int as well which holds 16 bits. We do have byte type. So byte can store from -128 to 127. And there is also a long type which can hold a really long number. And of course we've got floating point values which are float and double. A small thing that you should notice right here is that whenever you type a decimal number, it has by default a double type. So when I try to assign a decimal number to a float value, I get an error right here which says type mismatch, cannot convert from double to float. And what you can do to fix it is to add f at the end of the number and explicitly state that it is a float value. If you want to see the maximum value or the minimum value of each of these types, you can call, for example, its maximum value or minimum value, but you should make the first letter capital. So I'm gonna make a sysout on this so you can understand it better. And I'm gonna run this, and you can see that byte value can hold only 127. So this is its maximum value. So if you have one numerical value and you want to store it to another type of numerical value, you can use casting. For example, if I say here int value equals to long value, I'm gonna get an error right here which says cannot convert from long to int. So what I should do instead is open the brackets and type int. So I'm explicitly stating that I want an int value. And if I create a sysout right here and I put here int value and I run this, I can see that I still have the right value printed in here because this value fits comfortably in an int. You can also cast from floating point values to integer values. For example, int value equals float value. And without the explicit cast, of course, this is not going to happen. So we have to type here int. However, if we print this, we can see that we are losing everything that we have after our decimal point. So there's no rounding up, everything after decimal point is chopped off. So you could have complications in these cases, and casting is a way of saying that I really want to do this and I want to chop off the value after the decimal point. But if you do the other way around, for example, if you have here double or float and you want to assign an int to it, and you know that double or float has enough memory to fit an int, long, short, or byte, then you don't need a cast. Casting is only needed when you want to assign values that has bigger memory to values that has a smaller memory. because the values will often be chopped off, and Java wants to make sure that you know what you're doing. So you have to be careful with casting, because when you cast or when you type this, you're explicitly doing something that could go wrong. So you have to think before you do it. Otherwise, you'll have very weird results. And as you may have noticed, these are all numerical types. If you want to cast a string, for example, casting a string to an int or int to a string won't work. And if you want to convert an integer to a string, you have to use toString. And if you want to convert from string to an integer, you have to use integer.parseInt. So that's it for this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one.